My friend Lindsay was showing me her scrapbook, and she brought out this picture of Josh. And she just kind of started to rattle off things about Josh. One of the first things she told me is that, oh, this is the guy that introduced me to Nirvana. So, I asked her if I could keep the photograph. And I was really enamored with it, and I didn't really understand why. And I put it up in my room. And I remember looking at it one day thinking, like, this is kind of a pointless exercise. Like, what am I really going to do with this? And then it occurred to me that if I asked people who was the person that introduced you to Nirvana, this would be a great leverage point with which to access all these stories, not only of that band and their experience of it, but just more open, shared themes of adolescence and identity and culture. This is a picture of Spencer Eldon, who was the baby on the cover of Nirvana's Nevermind record. I just felt compelled. I found Spencer Eldon online. That baby is such a wonderful kind of pop culture moment. I found him in California, went out to make a portrait of him. It turns out that he's 17 and in his last year of high school, and it seemed like kind of a particularly interesting time to revisit him. I am so thankful that photography leads me intellectually to and just not just it's some of it's just pure childlike enthusiasm or awe, and that's just as important. This series is about me and the things that I've mused about or wondered about or kind of went and sought out. The image is basically Emmett Till, his grave was exhumed, and I think it's been a particularly kind of probably my most in-depthly discussed image because of the intersection of my own personal exploration with this cultural moment. And so it's a really great example of what the self-portrait as an artist project can be, which is a moment where my personal exploration becomes compelling to an audience as well. And it's not because it's about me, it's because you're faced with the individual's perspective on something broader than the individual. And that's really the kind of sticking point that I think makes the best pieces in this series really critically successful. It takes courage to not be an artist, but to put yourself out there. It's scary out there, but everyone does the same thing when they ask someone out on a date or go in for a job interview. It's inevitably about taking some kind of plunge. A few friends and I were in Memphis, and I set up another friend at the end of this pool slide, and I just said, hey, when I come, I'm going to strip down, and when I come off of this slide, I just want you to kind of hit the shutter right when I'm coming off the slide and over the water. And the picture was something I was initially really pleased with, but kind of embarrassed by, and it would only show it to close friends. But later, I thought to myself, what if this picture was called Self-Portrait as an Artist on Vacation? And the reason I thought that was so interesting is because it was a humorous kind of questioning of already what does an artist do? That role is very ambiguous, and I think in America that role is caricatured a lot and has a lot of its own baggage.